Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and we are back for a new Throne Thursday. And this week we are up to Season 2, Episode 2 of Game of Thrones, The Nightlands. And of course, I am joined by my co-host of this reaction series, Tyler. Hey, Tyler.
How's it going? Obviously, you can see I finally found that Tyrion shirt I had been talking about for many episodes. I finally found it, and now I'm ready to get into it. I think we're going to just see the evolution of me becoming more and more Game of Thronesy until the end.
Tyrion, a nice wine label there. I think if
I do.
Tyrion were to open a business, a wine company would make sense.
I think so too. That's why I liked it, because even when I didn't understand what it meant, but now I do, of course. But now I love it even more because I understand the references. Because Tyrion does seem to love his wine.
I'd say like a wine company or a brothel would be my choices on what Tyrion would open,
Yeah, or like a mixture of the two.
or both. But last week we had the season premiere of season 2 for Game of Thrones. And in our premiere, we saw just a smidgen of Joffrey, thank goodness, as he
Yeah.
threw a tournament for his birthday. And Sansa saved a drunken knight's life, took him in as a little fool. And then Tyrion came on in and started owning people left and right, announcing that he
Amazing.
is the hand of the king now, which Cersei didn't like. But we also saw Cersei own Littlefinger later in the episode.
Power, right?
Tried to own Joffrey, and then he threatened to kill her. So that was fun. We saw Daenerys and her little rag team of Dothraki survivors wandering the desert sea right now, running out of resources. And so she sent people to try to find something to help them with their survival. Otherwise, Robb sent Theon back to the Iron Islands after Theon asked him to go ask his father for some ships to aid in their war against the Lannisters. And then he sent his mother down to speak to Renly Baratheon to try to come up with a truce and a partnership in their war, both against the Lannisters. And we met Stannis as well as his little group of folks, including the Red Woman. And we saw that her witchy powers at least held some sort of merit as she withstood poison and burned down some statues of false gods as she saw it. We also met Davos, his hand of the king type of guy for Stannis. So, yay. And finally, we ended the episode with Joffrey and Cersei talking about how many bastards Robert Baratheon had. And then we see the knights roaming throughout King's Landing and killing all of Robert's bastards, babies and all.
So many of them.
Then we saw them putting the iron workers face to the coals, getting as much information they could about Gendry, and we saw Gendry and Arya just on their way up to the wall to be part of the Night's Watch. So,
Yay.
we saw pretty much everybody. Most all of our main characters made an appearance in episode 1. So let's see what the Nightlands is all about.
Oh. Oh,
Starting right off with Arya.
all right. Arya, she's got the new hairstyle, the new fit.
In her life as a boy.
No courtesy. Men must ask forgiveness.
I imagine because they're going up to the wall, they're not very nice people. She's gonna terrorize them.
Come close.
Guess that's not a good sign. They better hide.
They're looking for me.
Little does she know that's actually not what they're. I guess they're looking for both of them. Actually,
It's a funny thing.
Oh,
let's fight.
People that they forget about what's going on.
I guess that's one way to win a fight, right?
Displayed before breakfast. You can die here at this crossroads a long way from home. Or you can go back to your city and tell your masters you didn't find what you were looking for.
I don't know. I think he's kind of screwed either way.
We're looking for a
Like he
boy
goes
named
back and tells
Gendry.
Joffrey that they couldn't find him. I feel like he'll just kill them anyway.
You're taking your head home along with that bastard boy.
Well, at least for now, he's a badass. Tyrion.
We were just speaking of your bravery.
Oh
in the
God,
victory
what is
against the
this conversation going to entail?
And I tell him the story of how we meet.
To find so lovely a creature working in your father's kitchen.
I don't think Tyrion likes that
It
very
almost
much.
beggars belief. Unfortunate that your father didn't want her to come. But rest easy, my lord.
Oh, Tyrion!
I am very
Tyrion
good
is
at keeping secrets
Tyrion
from
is
my
just
good
getting
friends.
exposed.
Unspeakable of me to go on and on when all you want to do is rest. I leave.
Very.
Marys, man.
Well,
I don't like threats.
Ooh.
Not Ned Stark. I understand the way this game is played.
Ned Stark was a man of
Ooh.
honor.
And I am not. Threaten me again, and I'll have you thrown into the sea.
Oh man, look at you, Tyrion.
may be
Hell yeah!
disappointed in the
You wonder why I
results.
like that guy.
We shouldn't keep the queen waiting.
Varys. Not.
From this time
It's
until
another.
the end of time,
It's another
you're not-
game.
Rob's demand. There she goes, ripping papers again.
He has more spirit than his father, I'll give
I
him
see that went well.
Perfected the art of tearing up papers.
Oh.
You can give him his father's bones back, at least as a gesture of good.
Wouldn't 2 or 3 be enough for him?
We were having a serious discussion.
That's where you. One. Samuel.
look at
One.
Oh. That lovely decor. Oh.
Yay!
No?
Yeah, he seems very friendly at the
He
moment.
said, what you got in your hand, girl?
He wants
Let me
some
have
food.
it.
He's also giant, so I guess he is kind of scary. A romance is brewing, maybe?
You're very brave.
I don't know about that, but
First time Sam has ever heard that in his life.
I was gonna say, it was like, I mean, I
What's he
like
doing?
Samwell, but I wouldn't classify him yet
This is
as
good.
brave.
What are you doing?
Sam said you could help.
Just going over and just bothering John. He's just minding his own business.
We have to take him with us when we leave. What?
Okay.
Sounds a bit mad. So boy, what?
Oh, we're gonna find out what happens to the men. Well, I guess I'm
Why'd you do
guessing maybe
that?
they get
Ask her
killed
a
with their
question.
voice.
You were cruel. Don't steal her. She's a person, not a goat.
Samwell's just ready to risk it all. Huh?
We're heading deep
Literally
into
risk it
wildland territory. We can't
Where's
take
this
a girl with
this
us.
random
Norman
woman?
wouldn't have it, and even if he would, what will we do with her? Who's gonna deliver a baby? You? I could try. What? I've read about it.
I like Samwell, but I don't know about this one.
I'm sorry, son. We can't help her.
Like I think John kind of has the right idea here. Even though Samwell obviously has the heart and he's trying to do the right thing, I don't know if this is the best time to do that. Oh my God! Salvation!
Alicia.
They've been saved. It's a miracle. Maybe. Perhaps I spoke too soon. No. Well, there's other people that are out, you know, that she sent out. Maybe they'll get help from one of them, unless they get their head cut off too. At least the horse came back, I guess.
Hello, Recaro. Iron Islands. Go meet Theon's peeps.
I mean, I like Theon so far. Let's see what some of his backstory is all about. Is she broken up because of the baby murder last episode?
Yeah, watching a baby get murdered in front of your eyes.
I mean, that would do that to most people.
I hate bad investments.
Oh.
Really, I do. They haunt me.
That's like the ultimate dig. Like you're a bad investment.
I had no idea how to make her happy. I would not say he succeeded in making her happy. But my
It's like
losses
a very ominous threat.
definitely
I really don't like Littlefinger.
Or Roz.
I know. He's just an asshole. Basically said she was a bad investment.
He had no idea you were already bought.
You drunk? Not have my honor questioned by an imp.
I'm not questioning your honor, Lord Janus. I'm denying its existence.
Take this from you,
Dwarf.
Yes.
You should have stopped at imp.
Uh-oh. Not looking too good for him.
The king
Oh.
himself made me alone.
Bye-bye.
Aaron coming in and shaking things up quick.
He's a new commander.
Amazing. Best scene of the episode so far.
I saw.
Liar.
I saw.
These kids, these annoying kids
In
again.
Flea Bottom. How'd you know? Because I sold armor.
Like, I mean, kid's dumb.
Did you kill someone, or is it just because you're a girl?
I'm not a girl.
Ooh.
Yes, you are. You think I'm as stupid as the rest of them?
Stupider. Night Fox doesn't take girls. Everyone knows that.
Well, at least Gendry's smart.
It's Arya of House Stark.
Ooh.
Yoren is taking me home to Winterfell.
As my lady commands.
Ooh. They have good chemistry. I enjoy them together.
Unlike you.
You don't know what I'm like.
Is Theon just into like every woman that he comes across?
He's just ready to screw 24/7.
Do you know who I am? Seas in my blood. And we're making king
Why is Theon such like a horn dog? I see their relationship is very nice.
Cock is easy to fool.
My dear.
Oh no.
Yara.
So good to see you, brother. This
Oh
isn't
no.
grandchildren about.
What is with this show?
Lead an attack. And why not?
You won't stand a chance against the Lannisters on your own.
Who said anything about the Lannisters?
I gotta make the one black guy in the show a pirate.
I'm an excellent pilot. I don't sail for promises. As if she would just let you. You don't know how persuasive I am. I never tried to fuck you.
All right.
Stannis is the rightful.
So I see what his
king and the
motivation
Lord of
is. The guy's still scared of him.
When will the king have a
He
son?
really took that threat
As
seriously.
God wills it.
You might find it difficult to rule over millions who want you dead.
Good
Half the
point.
city will starve when winter comes. The other half will plot to overthrow you.
It's all fallen on me.
As has Jaime repeatedly, according to Stannis Baratheon.
Oh,
You remember back when you ripped my mother open on your way out of her and she bled to death?
We're going that route
She
now.
was my mother too.
For the sake of you.
That's like the ultimate low blow. Damn, leaving Tyrion speechless.
right and dirty, like she does.
Literally, like that's probably one of the dirtiest things you could throw out at that point. Oh God, something tells me that's not a good thing.
What did you say to him?
I told him death by fire is the purest death.
Okay, that's a dark thing to whisper to somebody.
You're troubled, my king.
Uh-oh. I saw she was about to take off the robe.
All of us.
I guess this is her way of giving. If he gives himself to
Shut
her.
away in a tower.
All right, we're just gonna get down and dirty on the war table. All right. Well, literally, that has to be not comfortable. Is he holding a child? Doesn't sound promising. Like something's out there. Oh no, are they feeding the boys to that something out in the woods? No. That's dark. Oh, and he got caught. I mean, let's be real here. I wouldn't expect him to be able to hide behind a tree with all that stuff anyway.
Then start running before he's even that far away from you.
That too, but it's just like, oh, how's he gonna hide behind a tree like that? Like, you see how much like stuff he has on with the robe and all that. Like, he would get found out. I mean, I guess he did, obviously, but That's pretty dark. They're feeding whatever, like I guess they feed the males to whatever creatures out there. What's up with this show? They just like
This is
killing babies.
baby death everywhere this season. So this episode 2, we got a lot of Theon this episode.
Yeah, surprisingly.
First we see Theon rudely just having sex with some girl on a ship.
Whoever that was, yeah.
Very ruthless toward her feelings. Then we see Theon molest his sister. And then we get to meet Lord Greyjoy as Theon sees him for the first time in basically a decade. His father is not so pleased with how he has returned, looking more and more like a Stark, basically, and seems to not take so kindly to Rob's request to give him ships. Leaves on that note of who said anything about the Lannisters. So
Yeah.
they don't seem to be planning to take on the Lannisters out at the Iron Islands. So how did you feel
Doesn't sound
about
like it, yeah.
Theon's little plot line this episode?
I mean, it's good that we're getting some development with Theon. I mean, it's interesting that like a lot of his plot line, even before this episode, is kind of just like him sleeping around with people. I mean, I like him as a character. I mean, I liked him in the bits that we got already in the past. I mean, I don't really dislike him more or less in this. It's just kind of weird where his storyline's being taken so far. I am intrigued to see where the future goes with him, especially now that we know that he could talk to his dad and we see what his dad's plans are.
Did you feel about Lord Greyjoy and Yara Greyjoy in our quick interactions with them?
I mean, his sister seems like the badass. I'm kind of curious to see if we're gonna see her in battle. I feel like she's probably gonna be pretty formidable. She just seems like a feisty, like awesome kind of female warrior kind of type. As her father kind of talked about her past and what she's done. Their father, I guess their father, not her. Their father, he seems like a very cold-hearted person, individual, and he clearly does not like Theon all that much anymore, and I guess he wants his title back. Whether he just doesn't want it through that means, I guess. So we'll see. We'll see what the future holds for him, and I guess also Theon's sister and Theon.
This episode, we got very little with Daenerys.
No, it was like what, one scene?
Her one scene. One of her riders returned.
Kind of
with their head in a bag.
Like the god. It's like the Godfather.
Yeah.
Send the horse in the bed.
Which also means we're no closer to finding a solution for her desert problem at the current.
No.
And they're all looking pretty rough out there. How'd you feel about Dany's quick little scene this episode?
I mean, I'm glad that she's getting some development in the sense that like she's trying to be like the strong leader to people and comfort the people that did decide to stick around with her because they didn't have to. Hopefully,
saw a lot of people leave. So yeah, they did not have to.
So the people that did stick around, at least she's trying to be good for them and trying to be strong for them, even if they get weak when they see decapitated heads and horses and all that hoopla. I mean, didn't they send out 3? They sent out 3 people, so there's still, I guess, 2/3 of a chance of someone coming back and helping. Hopefully, one of the other calls doesn't find the other 2 and cut their heads off and send another horse with a decapitated head. Maybe we'll see some more of the different calls, and that'll be intriguing to see.
Sad he was like the only little Ricaro that we knew at all. The little nice one.
Yeah.
These Dothraki, they're not always nice.
He seemed friendly, and then I guess that was kind of his downfall because he got decapitated.
We move right along to Arya. So Yoren is the guy taking them up to the wall. We see the men of King's Landing find them on the road looking for Gendry. And Yaren does not give up Gendry.
I'll just come back. They
said,
basically.
Come back.
I don't know. That's not a good. That's a threat that I would believe coming from like them at least.
Yeah. But Arya learns that Gendry is also wanted, and in the process, kind of reveals to Gendry that she's wanted because she thought they were looking for her.
They're both wanted because that was the thing. Like she thinks they're looking for her, but I guess they are both. They're looking for both of them, really.
they don't presume Arya to be with this group of boys being sent to the wall. So
Yeah, her disguise seems a little bit better, I would say.
in the process, though, Gendry's like, look, I know you're a girl. I figured it out. I'm not as dumb as Hot Pie and Mommy over there.
Everybody else apparently doesn't care or doesn't notice that she's a girl.
And she reveals to him is that she is Arya of House Stark. How did you feel about Arya and Gendry this episode?
I thought they were both good. I think that Arya and Gendry have really good chemistry. I think I enjoyed a lot of their banter together. Even I guess, some of the more friendly banter when it comes to once Arya reveals that she's actually like, Ned Stark's kid and all that, and his whole attitude changed because they were kind of ribbing each other quite a bit, and then he kind of had to like shape up a little bit once he realized she was technically royalty. So I thought that was a little bit fun, even if she kind of rejects the titles. I think they're both pretty good characters. I like Arya. I like Gendry. I didn't like their other people all that much. Lamy and Hot Pie. It's just funny calling a person Hot Pie.
Hot Pie and all his high tales, his little stories.
I think Arya has a very feisty, fun, personality. So I like that both her and also Gendry, who's like at least a little bit more reserved, but he's also kind of feisty. I think that they're a really good match, at least for now. Hopefully that continues as they journey to the wall, or wherever, if they get to the wall. I mean, we don't really know, I guess.
How about Yoren, the guy looking after them?
I mean, I thought it was pretty badass, his little monologue with the when he held the knife up to the guy's leg, basically his thigh, and gave his little speech. I don't know if he'll survive for much longer, because they seem to be like, we're just gonna come back and just kill you all. But at least in that moment, he got to be the cool, badass character. But we'll see if it lasts much longer.
Well, also in this episode, in King's Landing, we saw Littlefinger kind of threaten Roz because she's not
terrible.
performing, because she's upset that a baby was killed in front of her eyes like a day ago.
Rightfully so, I feel.
So he tells that story, kind of not so subtly threatening her. That was a fun little character moment with Littlefinger. We also saw Varys playing a game with Tyrion. So
he was not happy about that.
Yeah, Tyrion walks into Varys talking to Shay. Shay gave out a little bit too much information for Tyrion's
That's what it seems like.
But when confronted, Varys tries to play off like, "Oh, I didn't threaten you." Tyrion says, "I'm not naive like Ned Stark. I understand your games, Varys, and if you do it again, I'll throw you into the river, throw you into the bay." And Varys says, "You might be disappointed because as everyone else dies around here, I continue on."
Sassiness.
Also, how did you feel about that supposed euphemism that Shay gave, talking about Lord Varys doesn't like fish pies? And he said, "Oh, really?" And she said, "Yeah, I can tell. I can usually sense them out."
I understood. I was like, yeah.
Oh, Shay, hey, girl.
With the way that Varys has acted so far this season, and he's also a eunuch, I guess, because they brought it up a bajillion. They brought it up a bajillion times, and probably will, a bajillion times more.
As long as Littlefinger lives on, will you hear about the eunuch?
Always. Anytime they have any sort of banter, it seems to have been brought up at least once.
How'd you feel about Varys and Littlefinger with their scenes this episode?
I don't like either of them all that much. I think, if anyone who's been following, I don't really like Littlefinger all that much, and I don't trust him. And I guess he's becoming more of a person I dislike, more of just like on his morals at this point, and more of because he's obviously not a very good person, and he's gonna put down Roz for underperforming, I guess, after a traumatic experience. And I think that's kind of and then threatening her. Not a very good look for him, I must say. The stuff with Varys, at least his stuff was a little bit more comical, even if I guess it wasn't supposed to, maybe some of it wasn't supposed to be, since Tyrion kind of like tried to check him and put him in his place.
Chess match with Tyrion today.
Yeah, it was another one of those battle of wits between Varys and someone else, and it seems like Tyrion is like very serious in this. I don't know if I'd want to mess with Tyrion, especially now that he's the hand of the king. So maybe Varys should like lighten up a bit when it comes to that stuff around him.
Oh, so we saw Tyrion also in a chess match, basically with his sister, as he calls in Lord Janos Slynt to basically
Yeah,
be
that guy.
like, oh yeah, Ned was a fool for trusting you because he didn't know you were already bought, and he had some real good zingers towards Lord Slade.
Yeah, he went in on him, and then Braun, and then the stuff with Braun.
Braun, now the commander there, taking
Yeah,
Flint's place as
good for him.
Tyrion has dismissed him, sending him up to the wall.
Yeah, he just sent him to the wall too, and he was pissed.
And then later in the episode, we see Cersei confront Tyrion about that decision as well as his other decisions. She thinks he's stepping over the line in his role. Once again, though, Tyrion ends up not being very happy by the end of his chess games as Cersei gets sick of joking around and decides to tell him that the ultimate joke he ever played was killing her mother for him to be alive.
I think that's the definition. That's the definition of a low blow.
Yeah, so he was left kind of upset with Cersei's gig. So how did you feel about Tyrion and Cersei, but I guess mostly Tyrion? He had a lot to do. He was making moves this episode.
he's been ever since he's got there. He's been making moves. Well, so far this season, he's just been he's doing a good job. I guess you want to really look at it so far. Anyway, I don't want to jinx it if he sucks later. But
we didn't mention it though in Daenerys. Once again, Tyler strikes again, talking about somebody's here to save us with Daenerys, and then it's a head and a back.
Yeah, was that like the third or fourth time I've thought something good was going to happen?
Tyler talks too soon with Daenerys.
I guess it's sometimes it is with Daenerys. I feel bad because it's like, well, maybe there was a Khal Drogo. Maybe he'll and then there's up pillow immediately.
The horses.
I have bad luck, I guess, sometimes.
But anyway, how do you feel about Tyrion?
I mean, I love Tyrion. I love that he's at least like kind of just putting, just throwing shade at everyone. I think he's the best at it. He's like, I think he has the best personality of anyone so far in the show. I think he has the power to do it. So he doesn't really he doesn't really have any worries when it comes to being reprimanded for it. Besides the low blow that Cersei threw him about, killing their mom and all that. So I guess that's unfortunate. That's the way that she went out because I didn't know that until this point, which is kind of dark. So that's why their mother isn't around. Cersei's not like a great character. I mean, I'm not like a fan of her. I mean, she's definitely very strategic. And I guess like she's kind of like letting some of that stuff slide because Joffrey is the king. And and the fact that Joffrey threatened to murder her last episode.
Joffrey just unhinged. He didn't tell her about his plan to kill these children anyway.
But I do think Tyrion makes a good point though, that like not going to like you very much. Half of them die when winter comes, and then the other half are going to be plotting to murder you. So I think Tyrion I think Tyrion's making a good point that like, maybe she should, lighten up a bit, let Joffrey just go be this ridiculous king and let him just do whatever he wants when it comes to murdering children and all that other stuff, because that is quite a terrible thing to do even if you're not a king. I think Tyrion has the right idea with that, at least. Cersei's been very tactical so far with her moves, and I think she knows that she shouldn't be letting Joffrey do all this stuff, but she's still kind of doing it anyway.
Cersei had another moment for you. This is now 2 for 2 each episode. She's had a moment where you felt you were there with Cersei. And she's like, how many kings is this now?
Yeah, every now and then so far, she has a good line or two that I really do enjoy. A zinger or two, that one, because that's how I felt. Because like, there's so many people that are king now. Last episode with Littlefinger, with power is power. She flexed her power on Littlefinger. I guess maybe I'm like a little, like I like her a little bit. She plays a good game. She plays the good Game of Thrones, at least for now.
Well, as we suspected, they did not accept Rob's peace offering.
No, I mean, that deal was not very good.
She ripped it up, and they're sending their cousin back to tell him, no, thank you, Rob.
All of the deals got rejected, it seems.
All of
this
it.
Episode.
Every bit was rejected.
Waste of time. It was a big old waste of time. Nobody accepted the deals.
Rob just rejected left and right this episode. We'll see if Renly accepts his deal more kindly or if he rejected too.
Yeah.
But speaking of Renly, Stannis kind of in a precarious situation as he realizes he is vastly outnumbered, as he has that pirate actually says he has the smallest army in this battle here.
Not looking good.
Sir Davos out there negotiating terms and deals with this pirate, asking for ships. which he seems to get. By the end, the pirate comes around after his weird
A very weird.
obsession with Cersei. That was
That's such a
Davos's
weird.
son. I thought they might
Oh,
say by
okay.
the end of the episode, but that's Davos's son running around with him.
Oh, that guy that got scared once that pirate was like, "I'm gonna have sex with you."
I
And he's
haven't
like,
tried with you, and he's like, "Oh my god!"
and he just cowers in fear.
And that kid certainly has come around to the Lord of the Light, has accepted him as his lord, but we see that Sir Davos is not so convinced
He's
by
not. He's not in.
Melisandre.
He's not drinking the Kool-Aid just yet.
No, even after he saw the last guy go down and get poisoned. Yeah, but she whispers something very ominous into Davos' son's ear, telling him that fire is the most pure death.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, that's really dark. Like this whisper to somebody.
Before seducing Stannis.
He's the gateway to giving yourself, I guess. I don't know.
So yeah, how do you feel about Stannis' storyline this episode?
Well, I definitely think he has to team up with somebody else if he has the smallest army. I don't know if the pirates are the most trustworthy people. I mean, I'm going off of like pirates and other media. So I mean, I don't really know what
even
pirates
Davos
are like
said
in general.
I've never trusted him for like the 30 years I've known him, so.
Yeah, I think just in general, pirates are never very trustworthy people. I think Stannis is going to have to do something because he's got, I guess maybe he can like wager something with Renly because Renly has all of these men, but like he has like a witch.
Yeah.
Maybe they can work some deal out. Maybe not the same exact deal that apparently she has with Stannis, as we saw.
Yeah, I mean, clearly he'll probably reject that deal.
That's what I mean. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe her powers can overcome his desire not to sleep with her. We don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And then our final storyline, we hung out with John a little bit. First,
a little bit, yeah.
We got that really weird story as he's sitting there talking to Gren and this new guy whose name is Ed. He's been in both episodes now. Samwell talking about women.
Samwell's a very curious gentleman.
As we heard last season, Samwell is a virgin, he and John both. And then he gets his eyes on one of these little daughters who we learn her name is Gilly and learns that she's pregnant. And she's worried that if she has a boy, that obviously, as we saw later in the episode, her baby's gonna be sacrificed.
Yeah, we find out later what they like, because I remember that was the mystery. It was like, what do they do with all the boys? And I guess they just feed them to a creature in the wilderness.
Yeah, and John basically is like, listen, Sam, I know you want to help this girl. Clearly you have some sort of little crush on her or whatever, but we cannot take her with us.
I think that's one of the worst ideas so far, to be honest.
Yeah, John thinking a little bit more logically. Later in the episode, John sees Craster taking a son out there and hears lots of weird noises. So he follows Craster, sees him put the little baby boy out there, and we see something in the woods.
Some shadowy thing, yeah.
Right before Craster smacks John upside the head. How'd you feel about John and Samwell above the wall?
I mean, I do like Samwell and John. I definitely am more on John's side this time because I don't think it's smart to try and even save this girl, unfortunately. As dark as that sounds, it sounds like a really bad idea for like everyone involved, whether it be John and Samwell and everyone in the Night's Watch and, Lord Commander Mormont. I don't think that's going to be a beneficial thing to bring this random woman, especially one of his daughter wives, because he clearly doesn't want anyone to mess with them. I'm more on John's side this time. The guy makes a good point. Like, it's not going to help you in any way. Like, and if anything, like, it's not Samwell. There's like other women in the world. Like, we can move. We this is a one that's off limits. We can move on from this one.
I guess that'll bring us into predictions with that ending. What do you think will happen with John?
I feel like it's probably be one of those things where like he's probably gonna like wake up. I guess it's like the cliche thing you always see in movies when people get knocked out, like they wake up in like a haze the next episode. He'll probably be like tied up to something or something along those lines. And I definitely see Craster yelling at him for something. Maybe because he knows too much now. But I don't know. I mean, I'm curious. I'm more intrigued to see what the heck it is. What is this weird noise, monstrous kind of thing that takes men, I guess, or male children. I assume to eat.
So, what about Samwell? Do you think he will listen to John? Do you think he will ignore John and try to help this girl, or get himself in
Honestly,
trouble by messing around with this girl with Craster there?
honestly, because it's Samwell, I think in this case he's going to ignore John and try and help this girl because he seems like he's very adamant about it, even though he shouldn't be. I feel like because it's Samwell and he's trying to do the right thing in a world that really doesn't reward you for doing the right thing, I could see him probably trying to get this girl out, and it doesn't end well for, I guess, anyone. Him, Gilly, or Craster, or whatever the monster in the woods is. Or I don't know. I just because it's Samwell. Like I like Samwell, but I think his intentions are going to get him in trouble next time.
Then you mentioned earlier that Stannis is going to have to team up with someone. Do you think he'll approach Renly? Because that was who you were leaning toward earlier. Or what do you think Stannis's play is, as well as the Red Woman there?
Oh no! I mean, I think that's like the most, I guess, logical choice to just try and like make amends with his brother, even though they clearly don't like each other. I mean, I guess I don't really know as we don't really know as much how much they dislike each other. We just know that Renly and Robert weren't on the greatest of terms, and Robert and Stannis clearly didn't like each other based on what we read from that letter that they were crafting last episode. I don't know. I don't really know as much the tension or turmoil between the two of them. Maybe they can make amends. Maybe with the
Stannis's
help
big
of
thing seems to be that Renly is stealing his men and stealing his throne. Like it's his, and Renly
yeah.
is trying to usurp him. So that's Stannis's big hiccup.
I think they could, just because it's Game of Thrones, maybe they can like have a mutual alliance, and then probably maybe Stannis will try and betray Renly or something. That could always happen, right? It's like, oh, thank you for helping me defeat these people, and then I'm going to murder you so you don't get in my way.
And then speaking of Renly, we didn't see their storyline this episode. How do you think that meeting between he and Catelyn will go? Because presumably she's on her way down there.
I think Catelyn's a really good negotiator. I think she's a pretty good negotiator. I
She
could
seems
see
better
them.
than Stannis right now in negotiating.
I think so. At least from what I've seen of Catelyn so far, I think that she could probably work some sort of deal out. I don't know what the terms will be, but I think they can probably work something. I think Catelyn could work something out between them and I guess Robb Stark and all them.
Right, and then back in King's Landing, Tyrion sending Lord Slint away and kind of taking over.
Basically.
Trying to talk sense into Cersei. Oh, how do you see that progressing? We haven't really seen Joffrey. We didn't see him this episode at all, but
I was surprised by that. I was surprised that we didn't see any Joffrey or Sansa, I believe, as well.
Yeah, no Sansa, no Robb Stark and Catelyn Stark.
And Robb, yeah. I mean, in the immediate future, I mean, I'm not really sure, to be honest. I mean, they could go so many different directions just because Joffrey is kind of just like such a wild card.
Think Cersei's going to try to get Joffrey to put a stop to Tyrion's plans here?
I guess it depends on if it would benefit her, but I think it would benefit her in this case. So maybe, since Joffrey is very unruly, maybe she'll try and swing something Joffrey's way to kind of swing Tyrion out of the way, because he's been kind of getting all up in her business so far.
What do you think Lord Varys's play is at right now?
I don't know. His whole thing just seems to be like survive. Like it seems like his at least for now, because it seems like he kind of just plays whatever cards would benefit him, but like he doesn't really have like a major alliance with anyone, in the sense that he's kind of just like an overall person who tries to see the big picture, but he kind of just goes with what'll keep him around the most, I guess, because the stuff with Ned, he could have saved Ned, but he's not, and all the stuff that we've seen up to this point. I don't know, maybe he's trying to dig up some dirt, because on Tyrion, so he can try and get Tyrion thrown out because of the stuff with Shay, and Tywin Lannister's not going to be very happy about Shay being there. Varys seems to be playing an intriguing game of his own.
And then Arya, Gendry, and Yoren. Any predictions there?
Guessing they're just going to be on their little journey still to get up to the wall. I don't know how long it's going to take to get there. Hopefully not too much longer, just because I'm curious to see what it's going to be like for them up there. But
and now that the Lannister armies are
that's the other thing. That's the other thing I guess I'm concerned about. Hopefully they get there faster than the army gets back and comes with more people to try and murder them.
You feel pretty solid that Gendry is trustworthy with Arya's new secret?
I think so, just because I think they both kind of have dirt on each other that would benefit them to not talk about. Because I feel like they have that's like their mutual ground is the fact that like they both have like a terrible secret that if anyone found out, they would be screwed. Like they have like the mutual agreement I won't tell your secret if you don't tell mine, because if anyone finds out, they would be screwed.
Right, so now after 2 episodes into season 2, who are your favorite and least favorite characters at this point?
Kind of tough, I guess, with like some of these people, like, some of them not even are appearing in this episode.
Yeah, quite a few.
But as I mean, like as I realized it as we watched, I was like, wow, no Joffrey, no Sansa, no Jamie, it was wild. I mean, favorites, Tyrion. I mean, let's be real.
Further solidified in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, he's the most entertaining. He's a great, he's great. I mean, I'm always invested in whatever he has to say because Peter Dinklage really plays the hell out of this role. I mean, Arya's still great. We have a lot of season left to go. I think she's going to slowly get really good. It's tough because Daenerys is another character I really like, but we only saw her for like one scene because she did comfort the woman and all that stuff. So she's still a really good character so far. I'm trying to think of like other characters I like. I mean, Bronn's really cool. Uh, even though he's just kind of around sometimes. It's like characters. I mean, I still don't like Joffrey, even though he's not in the episode. But like, he's just like a really terrible character in general. But just his presence alone just always makes me like really dislike him. But as far as people in the episode, I mean, I feel like Craster has to be up there still, just because even if he wasn't explicitly like terrible in the sense, dialogue scenes, but like he did like literally give a child to a random monster in the forest.
How about that Lord Slint, who admitted to being the one to give the command to betray Ned Stark this episode?
Yeah, he's definitely a character I dislike. I mean, fortunately, I don't think we're going to see him anymore, at least, or maybe for the foreseeable future, depending on what because he's supposed to go up to the wall too, I guess. But like his path seems to be a much different path, as you said before. I mean, I don't like Littlefinger. That's another one I forgot about. Yeah. Littlefinger was pretty terrible, especially because he doesn't care at all about Roz and her situation, and basically alluded to her being like almost like a bad investment and made that threatening statement to her. I think that covers like the people I dislike because like I mean Cersei's a character I'm kind of always been on the fence about, but I would
been
put her
more neutral this season so far, like in a
I would say
neutral stance.
I think she's also in a really shitty situation because of her son.
Well, he just doesn't listen to anything, so
yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So she's kind of screwed in that regard. So what can you do, really?
All right. Well, that was our reaction and discussion about episode 2 of season 2 of Game of Thrones, The Nightlands, which is kind of a weird title, actually. We didn't mention it, but The Nightlands refers to the Dothraki's like heaven or afterlife. So, I mean, they just name dropped it real quick. The little girlfriend just said he won't go to the Nightlands because they slaughtered him. It's it was a very minuscule part of the episode to name the entire thing about.
Yeah, like, because I now that you brought it up, yeah, like what was up with that? Because like now that you mention it, that does make more sense because it's like, okay, like when you think of like the whole episode, that was like a very small portion of it. Like you said, it's like, I mean, it was a good portion of the episode. Like I like that portion, but I wouldn't name the whole episode after it.
Tyrion, Arya, and Jon. Those were kind of like the main storylines of the episode, and they were a completely random
Daenerys.
Thing.
Yeah, so far this season, there's really not been like too much Daenerys and her crew because it's
just
like
had one scene an episode so far.
Well, they're just stuck in the desert, so I mean, what are they gonna do?
Just chilling there in the desert. But I hope you all enjoyed our reaction to episode 2 of season 2. Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below, or you can hit either one of us up on Twitter. Tyler, do you want to let them know where they can find you?
Sure. You can find me on YouTube at my name, Tyler Calvert, and also on Twitter and Instagram at It's Tyler Calvert.
Perfect. And make sure that you hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel so you are up to date each and every Thursday with our latest Game of Thrones reactions. I love you all so much for your continued support. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.